Yo guys, welcome back to another insane what-if theory that's gonna blow your mind. Today, we're diving deep into the world of solo leveling and Jujutsu Kaisen, and trust me, this one's wild. Just imagine, what if Gojo Satoru, the strongest sorcerer in Jujutsu Kaisen, didn't just die or get sealed, but instead became a shadow soldier under Sung Jin-Woo? Yeah, let that sink in for a second. Gojo, with all his power, speed, and that broken limitless and infinity, now serving Jin-Woo as his most powerful shadow? Bro, this would break the whole power scale. So sit tight, cause in this video, we're going through this crazy theory in 6 epic parts, and by the end, you're gonna see why Gojo as a shadow soldier would make Jin-Woo literally unstoppable. Alright, let's start with the setup, how this could even happen. We know how solo leveling works, right? Jin-Woo, after becoming the Shadow Monarch, has this OP ability to raise the dead, turn them into his loyal soldiers, and boom, they're part of his army forever. Now, his shadows aren't just brainless zombies. Nah, they retain their skills, their fighting styles, and even their personalities to some extent. Just look at Beru or Igris, right? They still move like their original selves, but on steroids. Now, let's say in some twisted crossover universe, Gojo ends up in Sung Jin-Woo's world. Maybe it's after some cataclysmic event in Jujutsu Kaisen, Gojo fights a battle so insane that even he, the honored one, falls. But death ain't the end for him. Enter Sung Jin-Woo. After the war with the monarchs, Jin-Woo's power keeps growing. He travels between worlds, slaying threats across dimensions, and then boom, he stumbles upon Gojo's world, now overrun by curses and chaos. And there, he finds Gojo's body, broken, lifeless, but still radiating that immense energy. Jin-Woo knows instantly. This guy wasn't just strong. He was on a whole different level. So what does Jin-Woo do? He does what he does best. He raises Gojo. But here's the twist. Gojo doesn't just become any shadow. Nah, he becomes something new, something legendary. When Jin-Woo uses shadow extraction on Gojo, it's like the system itself glitches for a second. The usual, "Will you extract the shadow?" prompt. It flickers. The text changes. A being of immense power has been found. Extraction may cause unforeseen effects. Proceed. Of course, Jin-Woo, being the absolute Chad he is, hits yes and boom. A massive surge of energy explodes around them. The ground cracks. The sky turns black for a moment. And out from Gojo's shadow, something incredible rises. Gojo stands there, his eyes glowing with a mix of that cursed energy blue and the deep purple of the shadow realm. His signature blindfold? Gone. His infinity? Still intact. But now, it's laced with the dark aura of the Shadow Monarch. Jin-Woo looks at him, and for the first time since he became the monarch, he feels it. A chill. This ain't just any soldier. This is Gojo Satoru, the man who was the strongest in his world, now reborn as his ultimate weapon. Now, let's break down what this means for Jin-Woo's army. First, Gojo's abilities. Even as a human, he had limitless, controlling space at will, and infinity, where attacks literally can't touch him. And let's not forget his domain expansion, unlimited void, which overwhelms opponents' senses with infinite information. Now, imagine all that. Plus the buffs of being a shadow soldier. Gojo now has unlimited stamina. Shadows don't get tired. Regeneration. He can come back unless Jin-Woo is killed. Enhanced strength and speed, far beyond his original limits. He's basically a god in a god's army, but there's more. Unlike other shadows, Gojo keeps a piece of his personality. He's cocky, confident, and loves to show off. And Jin-Woo? he lets him, because Gojo gets results. When Jin-Woo faces threats from beyond, beings even the monarchs feared, it's Gojo who steps up. He doesn't just fight, he dominates. Enemies can't touch him, literally. They try to hit him, but Infinity's still there, stopping everything. And when he's done playing, he drops Purple Hollow, combining blue and red into an attack that erases everything in its path. Even Baru and Igris look at Gojo with respect, and maybe a little fear. But here's the crazy part, and this is where it gets real spicy. As Gojo fights more, as he adapts to the shadow world, he starts evolving. The system recognizes his potential and offers him something no other shadow ever got. A title: Shadow General Gojo Satoru. Effect: grants all nearby shadows increased defense and immunity to spatial attacks. Allows Gojo to create his own domain to protect Jin-Woo. Yeah, a domain to protect Jin-Woo. You see, Gojo ain't just some soldier now. He becomes Jin-Woo's shield and his sword. In the next parts, we're going to dive into what happens when Gojo and Jin-Woo face off against the gods of other worlds, how Gojo's power grows even further, and whether he might challenge Jin-Woo himself for the ultimate dominance. But for now, just imagine. Gojo, the once strongest sorcerer, now the ultimate shadow, standing beside the Shadow Monarch, ready to destroy anyone who threatens their rule. So, where we left off, Gojo's now. Officially Jin-Woo's strongest shadow. Not just strong, next level. This man's power in his own universe was already broken, but now, boosted by the Shadow Monarch's energy? It's just unfair, but here's where it gets even more nuts, alright? After Gojo becomes Shadow General, the balance of Jin-Woo's army completely shifts. Before Gojo, it was Baru and Igris who held that top-tier spot. These guys have been loyal since day one, right? Baru with his lightning speed, and Igris with that unshakable swordsmanship. But now, even they can feel the difference. Whenever Gojo steps onto the battlefield, there's a vibe shift. The air gets heavier. The enemies, they start backing off, because unlike other shadows, Gojo plays with his prey. He's still Gojo, that smug grin, that cocky attitude, and bro, when he flexes his infinity, it's a wrap. Let's talk about the first battle where Gojo really shows out as a shadow. So, after Jin-Woo raises Gojo, word starts spreading through the dimensions. Other monarchs, leftover rulers, and even ancient gods from beyond the known worlds, they hear that the Shadow Monarch's army just got way stronger, and of course, someone's always stupid enough to test it. Enter Zephus, the monarch of space, and time. This dude has been chilling in his own dimension, thinking he's untouchable. He manipulates time, bends space, you know the deal. He hears that Jin-Woo's growing too fast and decides, hey, maybe I should check this guy before he gets too big. Big mistake. Zephus shows up, tearing through the sky, creating rips in reality, stepping into Jin-Woo's realm like he owns the place. Now, normally, Jin-Woo would step up himself, right? But this time, he just looks at Gojo. Take care of it. And Gojo, man, he just smirks. He walks up to Zephus, calm as hell, hands in his pockets. Zephus starts flexing, warping time around Gojo, making him slow down, speeding up the area, trying to throw him off. But Gojo, he's just standing there. You're trying to control time? Cute, let me show you something real. Infinity kicks in, but now it's enhanced with shadow energy. Time doesn't touch him. Space bends around him, but he's untouchable. And then Gojo moves. One step, he's in Zephus's face. The monarch doesn't even react in time. Gojo lifts his hand, and for the first time, unleashes his unlimited void as a shadow. Bro, this ain't the same domain we saw in Jujutsu Kaisen. This is unlimited void. Abyss form. The domain is black, filled with swirling shadows, and Zephys gets hit with infinite information, drowning in the endless knowledge of both cursed energy and the shadow realm. His mind? Gone. His body? Frozen. And Gojo. He finishes it with a purple hollow that rips through the dimension itself. Zephys? Erased. Now here's where it gets real interesting. After this battle, Jin-Woo notices something strange. Gojo's shadow isn't like the others. It's growing, not just in power, but in consciousness. See, when Jin-Woo resurrected Gojo, he didn't just bring back a warrior. He brought back a mind that could rival his own. Gojo starts questioning things. You know, Jin-Woo, I get it. I'm your shadow and all. But how long do I have to follow orders? Jin-Woo at first brushes it off. Shadows are loyal. They don't rebel, but Gojo's different. The system itself is reacting. Gojo's too strong, too smart, and too aware. Let's hit pause on that for a second and talk about how strong Gojo's become. Infinity is now laced with dark energy. It doesn't just block attacks, it absorbs them, fueling Gojo further. Cursed techniques are evolving. His blue can now create black holes. His red explodes with shadow flames. He's learned to teleport using shadows, just like Jin-Woo. And that unlimited void, abyss form? It's a domain no being can escape. Basically, Gojo isn't just a soldier. He's becoming something else. And here's the thing, Jin-Woo knows it. In the next battles, Gojo takes more control. He leads the army when Jin-Woo isn't around. Shadows start following him, respecting him as more than just another soldier, and Jin-Woo starts thinking, what happens if Gojo stops obeying? Because Gojo's not like the rest. He remembers who he was. He knows what freedom feels like. By now, Jin-Woo's army is unstoppable. Other monarchs are either dead or hiding. But Jin-Woo, he's starting to feel something he hasn't felt in years, uncertainty, because Gojo isn't just the strongest shadow, he's becoming a king in his own right. Alright, so we've seen how Gojo isn't just any shadow now, he's a general, a monster, and low-key starting to act like a king himself. But here's the thing, right? Jin-Woo, the shadow monarch, he's not stupid. He sees what's happening. His strongest shadow, Gojo, is evolving way too fast, becoming more independent, more powerful, and even gaining followers within the shadow army. Let's break this down. First off, let's talk about loyalty. Normally, shadows are bound by Jin-Woo's will. They don't question, they don't think twice, they follow orders, period. But Gojo? Man, Gojo's built different. He starts taking initiative. Like during battles, he's making calls without waiting for Jin-Woo. He's ordering Baru, directing, Igris, and even strategizing on his own. At first, Jin-Woo's cool with it. Why not? Gojo's winning battles faster than ever. Enemies are terrified. Whole dimensions are surrendering without a fight just knowing Gojo's on the move. But then, one day, Jin-Woo gives an order, and Gojo hesitates. Picture this. There's this world, right? Not as powerful, but still home to some dangerous beings. Jin-Woo wants to eliminate it. No risks, no chances. He calls his army. Gojo, lead the charge. Wipe them all out. But Gojo, he tilts his head, grins, and goes, all of them? Even the ones who haven't lifted a finger against us? And for a moment, the air gets heavy. Baru's wings stop buzzing. Igris grips his sword tight. Even Jin-Woo narrows his eyes. That's an order. Gojo sighs, throws up his hands. All right, boss, your army, your rules. But deep down, something's cracking. Here's where it gets crazy. Gojo starts thinking about freedom, about what it was like to be the strongest without answering to anyone. And now, he's powerful, but still just a piece on someone else's board. The more battles he wins, the more power he feels, the more he wonders, why follow when I could lead? let's talk power scaling for a second. By this point, Gojo's not just boosted, he's beyond SS rank. His infinity now drains enemies, feeding him energy every time they try to attack. His cursed technique reversal? It doesn't just heal, it resets damage like it never happened. And his domain expansion? He can trap multiple enemies in separate voids at once. Jin-Woo notices. The system notices. A new alert pops up. Shadow General Gojo has reached critical power. Do you wish to reinforce the binding contract? And Jin-Woo's standing there, thinking. Because reinforcing the contract, it's like putting a leash on Gojo, making sure he never questions orders again. But doing that could trigger a fight no one's ready for. Here's the real question now. Can Gojo break free? See, shadows are supposed to be bound forever, right? But Gojo's mind, his spirit, his cursed energy, it's messing with the shadow rules. There's this theory, right? That if a shadow grows strong enough and has a will powerful enough, they can start to resist. Gojo's testing it. Every day, he pushes the limits. One night, while the army rests in the Shadow Realm, Gojo steps out, alone. He looks at his own hands, the energy flowing through them. What am I now? Just a shadow? Or something more? And then he feels it. A pulse. Like the system itself is warning him. Now here's the plot twist. Gojo isn't the only one getting ideas. Some of the shadows, the older, stronger ones, start following him more than Jin-Woo. Not openly, but in. The way they move, the way they listen when Gojo speaks. Even Beru, loyal as ever, starts wondering, is Gojo the future of this army? Let's set the scene. Jin-Woo calls a meeting in the Shadow Realm. The top soldiers all gathered. We have new enemies to conquer, a world of gods who refuse to kneel. He looks at Gojo. You'll lead the charge again. Gojo smiles, but there's something behind it now. Sure, but let me ask you something, Jin-Woo. How long do we keep fighting your wars? And boom, tension. Thick, heavy, almost electric. Jin-Woo stands. Until the threats are gone. Gojo's eyes narrow. Or until there's no one left but us. All right. So we've seen Gojo evolve from just another shadow into something way more dangerous. A being with power, a will of his own, and now, a question in his heart. Do I really need to follow Jin-Woo? This is the turning point, guys. Everything's been building up to this. The tension, it's about to explode. Let's set the scene. So after that last meeting, where Gojo threw that slick question at Jin-Woo, the whole army could feel it. Something ain't right. The Shadow Monarch and his strongest soldier, they're not on the same page anymore. And Jin-Woo, man, he's not the type to just let that slide. He calls Gojo into the throne room, just them two. No Beru, no Egress, no audience. Let's talk. Gojo walks in, all calm like always, hands in his pockets. What's up, boss? Jin-Woo gets straight to it. You've been stepping out of line, Gojo chuckles. Or maybe I've just been stepping up. Boom. The air gets heavy. Jin-Woo steps forward. You're still my shadow. Gojo's eyes flash. I'm not sure about that anymore. Let's pause and think about that. Gojo's power? Off the charts. Jin-Woo? Still the Shadow Monarch, the one who created him. But here's the problem. Gojo isn't just powerful. He's smart. He's starting to understand the system. He's been digging, testing the limits, and guess what? He found something. Gojo reveals it. I've been studying this world, this power, and I figured it out. There's a way to break free. Jin-Woo's eyes widen. Impossible. Gojo grins. That's what they all thought. But I'm not like the others. So here's the big twist. There's a loophole in the shadow system. If a shadow gains enough power equal to the monarch and If their will is strong enough, they can challenge the throne, not just disobey, but actually fight for control. And Gojo, he's ready. Let's dive into the battle. Yeah, it's happening. Gojo steps back, energy swirling around him, half cursed energy, half shadow. Let's settle this, Jin-Woo. If I win, I'm free. If you win, I'll obey. Jin-Woo doesn't. Back down. You were my creation. Don't forget that. Gojo smirks. Maybe you created me, but now I've become something else. Fight begins. Jin-Woo summons his armor, his swords, shadow energy flooding the realm. Gojo? He doesn't even need weapons. His infinity kicks in, stopping every attack before it lands. Jin-Woo goes in, fast, brutal, with the force of 1,000 shadows behind him. The ground shatters. The sky cracks. Gojo. He's dodging, weaving, laughing. Come on, Jin-Woo, I thought you were the king. Then Gojo strikes. Blue, a gravitational crush that bends the space around Jin-Woo, pulling everything toward him. Jin-Woo counters, shadow teleportation appearing behind Gojo with a sword slash meant to cut even monarchs. But Gojo's infinity? Still untouchable. The fight gets crazy. Jin-Woo unleashes Kamish's wrath, a dragon's flame that devours whole armies. Gojo eats it, walks through like it's nothing, and hits back with Purple Hollow, tearing apart the battlefield. The Shadow Realm itself starts to shake. And the army, they're watching, in shock. Beru's wings are trembling. My liege, should we intervene? Igris steps forward. No, this is between kings now. But here's the thing. Gojo isn't just fighting for power, he's fighting for freedom. Every hit, every move, he's pushing Jin-Woo, testing him, forcing him to see. I'm not your shadow anymore. I'm your equal. Jin-Woo starts realizing something. Gojo. He's right. The power Jin-Woo gave him, the freedom he allowed him. It's created a monster, but also something more. A rival. The battle hits its peak. Both of them bleeding shadow energy, the realm tearing apart. Gojo summons unlimited void, abyss. Form again, but this time Jin-Woo breaks through, using shadow domination, forcing the world to obey his will. They clash in the center. One final blow. Silence. Dust, and when it clears, Gojo's standing, barely, grinning. Jin-Woo's down on one knee, breathing heavy. But he's smiling. You win. Boom, that's it. Gojo's free, but wait. This ain't the end, because now, with Gojo free, a new threat rises. So where we left off, Gojo did the unthinkable. He challenged Jin-Woo, went head-to-head with the Shadow Monarch himself, and actually won. Yeah, Gojo's free now. No longer a shadow bound by Jin-Woo's will. But here's the thing, right? Even though Gojo's no longer under orders, he doesn't just dip. Nah, he sticks around. Why? Because something bigger is coming. Let me explain. See, when Gojo broke free from the shadow system, it did something. It rippled across dimensions, like the laws that kept balance between worlds. They felt that break, and now the real enemies, the ones even monarchs didn't mess with, are watching. These ain't monarchs. They ain't rulers. They're called the primordial ones. Ancient beings from before the system even existed. They control the fabric of reality itself. And Gojo's freedom. It's a threat to everything they've built. So, yeah, they're coming. Here's how it starts. Right after the fight, Jin-Woo's recovering. Gojo, chilling nearby, still grinning like he just won the lottery. So, what now? Gojo asks. Jin-Woo looks up. Now? We prepare. Because Jin-Woo knows. He felt it. When Gojo broke free, he sensed a presence. No, multiple presences, stirring awake. Suddenly, a system alert pops up. But this one's different. Darker. Warning. Entities beyond system control detected. Hostile takeover imminent. And boom, the sky tears open, a new enemy steps out. This dude, his name's Nyrix, primordial of decay. His aura alone is killing. Everything it touches. Plants wither, shadows vanish, and even the air starts to rot. He looks at Jin-Woo and Gojo like they're insects. You broke the balance. Now we reset it. Let's pause. Gojo's free. Jin-Woo's still the Shadow Monarch, but now they're facing beings who don't play by any rules. This ain't about conquest anymore. It's about survival. And here's the craziest part. Jin-Woo can't fight this alone. But Gojo, he's ready. The team-up begins. No more Master and Shadow. Now, it's Gojo and Jin-Woo, two kings side by side, and the battlefield, it's about to be fire. Nyrix summons waves of decay. Whole armies of void beasts rise behind him, creatures, made of rot and darkness. Jin-Woo calls his army. Shadows flood the field. Baru, Igris, Tusk, they're all ready. But Gojo, he's in front, cracking his neck. Let me warm up a bit. First wave hits. Void beasts swarm. Gojo moves like lightning. Blue crushes a dozen beasts into a singularity. Red blasts through the air, disintegrating everything it touches, and then he opens his domain, unlimited void, abyss form, rebirth. This version, it doesn't just trap, it cleanses. The void beasts get hit with infinite knowledge, their decayed forms unraveling under the pressure. Jin-Woo joins in, slicing through the chaos, teleporting with shadows, commanding the army like a true monarch. But Nyrix, he's just standing there, not even moving. You think this is a fight? This is punishment. And with a flick of his hand, the real threat appears. Another primordial steps out. Kalis, primordial of time. This dude's on a whole different level. He stops time itself, freezing the entire battlefield. Even Gojo can't move. Even infinity halts. But here's the twist. Gojo starts laughing. Oh, you're one of those guys. Now, we get the big reveal. Gojo's evolution didn't just give him power, it gave him understanding. While frozen in time, Gojo's mind keeps working. His cursed energy, it starts bending around the time lock. You want to play with time? Let's see if you can handle this. Gojo unleashes a new technique, something he's never used before. Cursed reversal, infinity loop. It creates a bubble of endless moments, a space where Gojo controls the flow of time inside infinity. And boom, time starts moving again, but only around Gojo. Kalis's eyes widen. Impossible, Gojo's smirking, already in his face. One punch, Kalis staggers. And then, Gojo goes full power, purple hollow with infinity loop backing it. Kalis gets blown out of the timeline, erased like he never existed. Jin-Woo sees it, nods. You're more than I ever expected. Gojo turns, that familiar cocky look. Told you I'm not just a shadow. But Nyrix, he's not done. He transforms, revealing his true form, a being of pure decay, touching reality itself, turning existence into nothingness. Gojo and Jin-Woo stand together. Now, it's not about who's stronger, it's about saving everything. Gojo and Jin-Woo no longer bound, no longer master and servant, but partners, facing the ultimate enemy. So, here's where we're at. Kalis, the primordial of time, erased by Gojo. But now, Nyrix has revealed his true form. No more humanoid look. This dude is now a swirling mass of decay energy, a living black hole of rot. Everything around him dies just by being near. Even shadows start fading. Beru collapses. Igris's armor cracks. The army is breaking. And Jin-Woo? He's pushing his limits just to hold the realm together. But Gojo, he's still standing. Now listen, Nyrix isn't like any other enemy they've faced. This guy is the end of all things. Reality bends around him. Time skips. Space twists. He's the final boss of all bosses. Gojo looks at Jin-Woo. We're not going to survive this if we don't go all out. Jin-Woo nods. Then let's finish it. Now remember, Gojo's free now. No system, no bindings, no rules, and that's the key. While Jin-Woo's tied to the Shadow Monarch's power, rules, limits, balance, Gojo, he can do whatever the hell he wants, and he's about to prove it. The battle starts. Jin-Woo summons everything, Kamish, Ashbourne's shadow, all the elite soldiers. But Nyrix is just eating their energy, growing stronger. Jin-Woo charges in, shadow blades flying, teleporting across the field, landing hit after hit. But nothing sticks. Nyrix just regenerates, spreading more decay. Then, Gojo steps up. He pulls back his blindfold, eyes glowing with limitless cursed energy. All right, no more games. And boom! He activates Infinity Loop again. But this time, he combines it with something new. Domain Expansion. Eternal Abyss Void. This domain isn't just a space of infinite knowledge, it's a trap for concepts. Nyrix is dragged in. Inside, time, decay, space, it all becomes meaningless. Gojo and Nyrix face off, alone in the void. Now, here's the twist. Nyrix isn't just trying to kill them. He wants to erase them from existence, like they never were. But Gojo's domain? It's protecting their existence. For the first time, Nyrix can't decay him. Jin-Woo, on the outside, is fighting to keep the Shadow Realm from collapsing. Without Gojo's help, the pressure is killing him. But he holds on. Because Gojo, he's doing something impossible. Inside the domain, Gojo speaks. You thought decay was absolute, but what if I told you I'm already beyond life and death? And then he reveals it. When he broke free from Jin-Woo, he didn't just become independent. He became a concept himself. The balance. Where Nyrix brings decay, Gojo brings infinite stability. Every time Nyrix decays something, Gojo restores it. They're opposites now. Equals, and Gojo starts pushing back. The battle inside the domain is God tier. Nyrix throws void spears of decay. Gojo counters with reversal techniques, turning decay into energy. They clash, shaking the fabric of reality. And finally, Gojo unleashes one final move. Infinity Collapse. He compresses all the cursed energy, all the shadow energy, all the decay around them into a single point, and lets it explode. Nyrix is caught in it, his essence, his core, everything obliterated. The domain shatters. Gojo falls to one knee. Jin-Woo rushes in. You did it. Gojo smiles, breathing heavy. We did, but here's the cost. Destroying Nyrix left a hole in reality, a gap where decay used to exist, and that balance. Someone needs to fill it. Gojo looks at Jin-Woo. This is my job now. He stands, and as Jin-Woo watches, Gojo's body starts to fade, not in death but in ascension. He's becoming a new primordial, the primordial of balance. Keep the army in check, Jin-Woo. I've got the rest of the multiverse to stabilize. And with that, Gojo disappears, not as a shadow, not as a sorcerer, but as a guardian of reality itself. Jin-Woo stands alone, looking up. He was never meant to follow, and the Shadow Army kneels, not in fear, but in respect. The end. Yo, if you stuck with me till now. Mad respect. This theory? This was a journey. Gojo went from being Jin-Woo's strongest shadow to something way more. A king, a rival, and finally, a god. Let me know what you think in the comments, smash that like, and if you want more crossover theories, drop your craziest ideas. Peace out.